Some boys were undergoing a traditional initiation ceremony. It was a sacred rite of passage, a moment filled with chants, symbols, and rituals passed down through generations. After the main rites were performed, the leader, the one known as the boss, arrived to complete the final phase of the initiation, officially marking the boy's transition into manhood. Meanwhile, in a different part of the city, a man named Efemini, often called F, was struggling to survive in Lagos. He had moved to the bustling city with his wife and family, hoping for better opportunities and a brighter future. But life in Lagos was far tougher than he had imagined. Jobs were scarce and money was always tight. Every day was a grind, early mornings, late nights, and barely enough to eat. One afternoon, while working at his job in a small restaurant, F received a call from his mother-in-law. Her voice was urgent. She told him his wife had gone into labor and had been rushed to the hospital. They needed money immediately for the delivery and hospital care. F's heart dropped. He had no money, his pockets were empty, and his bank account was in the red. Desperate and panicked, he left work and began going from place to place, asking friends, neighbors, even strangers, if they could lend him something, anything. But no one had enough to help. With no other options, he returned to his workplace and approached his boss, a woman known for being strict but sometimes helpful. He pleaded with her to lend him some money. She looked at him silently for a moment, then agreed, but on one shocking condition: he would have to sleep with her in exchange. F was devastated. Torn between his pride and his responsibility as a husband and soon-to-be father, he eventually gave in. After the act, she handed him the money he needed, and without wasting a second, he rushed toward the hospital. But fate had more cruelty in store. On the way, F was attacked by robbers. They took everything, the cash he had just received and his phone. Helpless and broken, he still went straight to the hospital, praying something could be done. He found the doctor and explained the entire situation, expecting to be thrown out or shamed. Instead, the doctor, moved by his sincerity, allowed him to pay the hospital bills in small installments. F finally got to see his wife and their newborn twins. Despite everything, his heart was filled with joy and gratitude. He had become a father twice over, but the happiness was short-lived. His mother-in-law, who had never fully approved of him, constantly criticized him for not being able to provide properly. Her words were harsh and unforgiving, adding to his emotional burden. The very next day, his uncles showed up. They came to remind F about his late mother's burial, which had been pending due to financial constraints. They insisted on a big, traditional burial to honor the family name, but F became furious. He could barely keep food on the table. How could they expect him to fund an elaborate burial? His frustration boiled over, but the uncles didn't seem to understand or care about his struggles. Later that week, while working another long shift at the restaurant, F was serving food to a group of customers when one of them suddenly stood up and called his name. The man was Abbas, an old friend from secondary school. They hadn't seen each other in years. Abbas was visibly emotional, overjoyed to see F again. Back in school, F had once saved Abbas' life, an act of courage that Abbas had never forgotten. Since then, he had been searching for a way to repay the debt. When he found out that F was not only working at the restaurant but also owed the owner some money, Abbas didn't hesitate. He paid off F's debt right there on the spot. Then, with a warm smile, he invited F to be his guest for the night, to eat, rest, and talk about everything that had happened over the years. For the first time in a long while, F felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe things were finally beginning to change. Inspirational message. No matter how heavy life gets or how many times you fall, don't give up. F's journey shows us that even in the darkest moments, when hope seems lost and help is nowhere in sight, there's always a reason to keep going. Sometimes, life will test your dignity, your strength, and your faith. But if you keep pushing, if you stay true to your heart, help will come, often from the most unexpected places. Pain is temporary, but resilience builds a story worth telling. Keep going. Your breakthrough might be just around the corner.